This is Justin AMZN for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019. We had a really strong rally right out the gate. I don't know if it was people that were selling, getting back in after a holiday weekend, but a massive rally, had a really nice S curve, and then continued higher. Even made a new high up here during the 11 o'clock hour. No, actually, it was right at 10:50 Central Time, and made a really nice evening star reversal here. Started to show signs that it could pull back, but this bearish candle was a pullback similar to this one and similar to this one, but then it just went sideways. This is kind of a bigger stair step. It started to look like a double bottom, and then started to look like a double top, and the double top actually went out. This candle was very telling. This was the first time we crossed below the 21, retested back into it, and rolled down for a little bit. Didn't even really come back into a particular low other than kind of the open of this candle. And that's what we're going to jump in and talk about on the options. So if we look at, this is the 1825 call. This is that candle. This is that the second 5-minute candle. The open price on this option, the 1825 call, is, let's see, the low here is 462. Now it gapped up pretty significantly from the close of the first 5-minute candle, gapped up here, and this is just showing that there's just a lot of people getting in, especially this candle. You see the volume spike at 173 contracts, but the prices are being overinflated because it's moving so quickly in that direction that the Greeks are just pouring in the premium, making it more expensive, and then it gets sucked back out. And by the time we were 30 minutes later down here, we were back below the option price for this candle. If we go back to the 5-minute, we were coming right back into it. We were kind of right there, but this was the place to be looking to get in if you missed this, and a lot of people missed this rally. It opened down from Friday, and still just rallied really strongly. I really like we touched the 21 here, just like I like that we crossed below it here. Touched the 21 here, but even as these candles are coming in, we're getting a really nice stair step, and you can look at the options prices here, and we were really coming right into $4. So we were way below this 462. What was the low? Coming into $4. This one was $3.95. This one was $3.90. This one was $3.80. But just either setting up a trade 4 by 3 or 4 by 350 or 450 by 350, any of those would have worked to get to our, had you held on to this new push higher on the day, getting out like 7. So if you're in at 4 and you get out at 7, that's 3 hour. If you're in at 450 and you get out at 7, that's 2.5 hour. That's great, especially on a day like this where it seems so directional. And then it ended up making this kind of a wedge that collapsed. And it was something we were talking about last week a little bit, and trying to get the right setup and all. But yeah, we had a couple opportunities to go bullish, a couple opportunities to go bearish. Really nice retest here, really nice rollover here, and then just some chop into the close that put in another double bottom, another double top, broke down, somewhat retested this double bottom, and then broke out. If you look at the bigger picture, we're on the daily, we've pretty much stair-stepped here. Our highs are very similar. We actually pushed above 1800 today, and really looking at this, it doesn't look like we're going to go sideways for too much longer just because we got the squeeze forming. I mean, it could still go. Let's see. Last time we did a squeeze, it lasted 6 bars and then fired and then came back into the squeeze. So, we're really near that point right now. We've got some bullish momentum in here. We've got 4 bullish candles out of the last 6, which is the first time we've said that since up here, I think. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that's 3 and 3. Yeah, I don't think we've made 4 bullish candles out of 6 since we were up. This candle would have been the second out of 6 bullish ones, and this was significantly more bullish. So something's shifting here. The question is, though, is it a shift because there's real people coming in to buy, and we're going to get a move higher? Now, if we do, all we need to do is really gap above today, gap above this candle. If we get a gap up like 18.0, let's see, what was the high here? 1804.90. If we can get above 1805, 1806, 1807, something like that. 1815 could still be a contentious point, but I would think the momentum should carry us at least a little bit through that before it slows down to reevaluate around these highs around 1830. And if it can do that, it would look like we'd see a nice rally up into maybe the upper 1800s. If, however, we gap up and then fade, roll back down, I think we'd easily come back down to 1747. And if we actually just break down and we're going lower, it's a little bit harder, but our next pivot is around, well, there's pivots in the 1700s, but the next one here in the 1600s, 1665.27 is this one. It could really pull back down, way down, and contend with these prices here. And then I guess, if it does go sideways, I was looking at this to see what was telling about this. So we just kept pulling back in, earnings, whatever, anything happened. It broke out and pulled back in, broke out, pulled back in, broke down, pulled back in, any of those things. And there's some of that going on here. But it totally makes sense to rest before we continue. And it makes sense to rest and then still roll over. So we're in a really good place to be indecisive and wait. And that's kind of the setup right now. We're waiting to see for this thing to show where it's going. When I was trying to kind of get an idea on this, how this could move, something I like to do where it looks like maybe there's some bearishness setting up, but I'm more familiar or more used to looking at things bullish. If you put a minus, so minus AMZN, some other brokers you can do the math, so 0 minus AMZN, something like that, or other charting softwares. But if I do that, I'm basically just flipping it. I lose all my lines and stuff, but I've got the 5 and the 21 in here. And just what's interesting to see is, this looks like a really nice double bottom rally and a really nice consolidation that should continue along with the direction the 21's going here. Just like we did that coming down this way, chopped around quite a bit. This one looks like it's kind of waiting, and it could wait a little bit longer. Maybe we can use this as a resistance, maybe into September expiration. If we could last that long, we could totally go sideways. And I guess, we could go sideways longer than what I was initially thinking. But from there, we could break out, continue towards the lower numbers, or it could break down, which would mean a move to the larger numbers. So again, let me flip it back, so with that mindset of this looks like it should continue in the direction it's going. It doesn't really look like a triple top. It's not really showing that it's gonna break the 21. Well, if we come back into the regular chart that we're used to seeing with the mindset of it should continue, looking at this, it's like, oh yeah, this should continue lower, just because the opposite, the minus AMZN looked like it was going to go higher. So this one would have to go lower. So it just helps kind of frame things if you're more biased or at least used to looking at charts a certain way. But it's something that it's going to have me be very cautiously bullish here. And, just wait for the right setup to show up. So anyway, getting back into the 5-minute, we had some really nice moves, getting in 4, getting out at like 6 or 650 or 7, somewhere in there. And had you set up 4x3, sure, that's good. If you had set up 4x350, that's phenomenal. On the puts, where we did that double top on the 5-minute, let's see. We did this double top here, the second peak. You know, if you kind of anticipate, you know, this is looking like it's going to roll over. I want to wait to get in until it's down here. Okay, so 12 o'clock rolls around, you're getting in bearish. And let's see here, 12 o'clock. That was this candle here. So that would have been buying, let's say 5x4. And that would have worked. 5x4, go up to 7. May not have been filled, probably wouldn't have been filled right here. But you would have had to just scalp something. And it makes sense because from here, you know, the edge is a little more bullish. Where it's making, I'm sorry, the edge is a little more, we're talking about the double bottom here. Yes, the edge is a little more bearish. More positive on the put, which makes it the edge more bearish here. On its way back down, breaking down from the 21. And then it's just a matter of waiting out. Look at all these bearish candles here and here and here, and waiting out for things to switch and kind of shift and allow more of the buyers to come in. So that's what looks like happens. We've got a big sell-off right at the close, and it sort of forms a bigger double bottom. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see how things play out. We're really close to the upper end of this channel that we've been in for a little bit. And if we do have a gap up, we could totally roll back down into this, retest back up to it around 1800. We just have to wait and see if it's going to do that and how things play out. So anyway, hope this helps. This is just AMZN. Thanks.